Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow, the sports professor. A very special football-only edition today as we cover two of NFL's most legendary families. Stephen Jones with the Dallas Cowboys and Pat Rooney of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rick Horrow sits down with both those executives. Here's Rick Horrow, the sports professor, bringing you both those exclusive interviews. Rick, take it away.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, keeping score in the boardroom, and you talk about playmakers, decision makers, entrepreneurs, branding folks. I have somebody who can speak as all of that. Certainly the family is, you could call it the dominant family, not just in American sport, but probably global sport, stratospheric sport, anywhere else. Stephen Jones is the EVP and the CEO and the Director of Player and Personnel for the Cowboys, but he's so much more. University of Arkansas, degree in chemical engineering in '88. We'll talk about some of that stuff, and he's, giving us a really significant part of his time as the team figures out who to draft in their future. Stephen, thank you for the time, and thank you for being with us.
Well, Rick, what a very nice introduction. I'll take that every time, but exciting time of year for us. It never stops. It's a year-round extravaganza now when you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the different things we're involved in. But it's a especially exciting time of year with the draft. I think all our fans enjoy it, and obviously we're looking to improve our football team.
Well, clearly, and you'll improve your football team, and your football team is a centerpiece, but it's only one aspect of an incredible worldwide entertainment conglomerate that all of our listeners will really appreciate, a scale of which really isn't known. But my question first is, the guy gets a degree in chemical engineering. Now I'm a lawyer, and I understand that we depend on using the word depend. You put the stuff in the wrong beaker, you blow up the place. How do you go from being so you got to be right, you got to be wrong, into such a visionary entrepreneur?
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you could make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? It's true. According to the 2012 U.S. Census Bureau, college grads with a bachelor's degree make almost twice as much as high school grads. Now, going back to school is easier than ever at Independence University. Log on and complete coursework from the park, or the beach, or even your couch watching the kids. And Independence University gives you the tools, a free tablet and laptop for undergrad students to use and keep when they graduate. That's right. Get a laptop so you can go to college from anywhere. Take the first step to a new career in business, information technology, healthcare, or graphic arts. Call to find the online degree program that's right for you, and you could be on your way to increasing your earning potential.
800-797-1256. 800-797-1256. That's 800-797-1256. Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
The sun can make your outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable you can't use it. But now there's the Sunsetter Retractable Awning. A Sunsetter Retractable Awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds, and it keeps your patio about 20 degrees cooler. It provides instant shade and protection from the sun's harmful rays. You can get your Sunsetter for as little as $5.99 when you call now to get your special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit. You're going to love your Sunsetter Retractable Awning. Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last. So call 800-692-0268 now to get a free awning idea kit with DVD plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate. This is a limited time offer, so call 800-692-0268. That's 800-692-0268 for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation, so call 800-692-0268 now.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
A visionary entrepreneur. They're two different sides of the brain, aren't they?
Well, believe it or not, what pushed me to chemical engineering is I had a chance to go to Princeton right out of high school, but I also got a scholarship to the University of Arkansas from Coach Holtz, and I was dead set on seeing if I could play in a big stage, on a big stage like the University of Arkansas, and my father was really pushing me to go to Princeton, and so our compromise was I'd take something challenging other than a typical business degree, that I would do something challenging, and our goal at the time was that we were going to be in business, in the energy business, the oil and gas business, and they didn't have petroleum engineering at Arkansas. They had chemical, and it just so happened it was challenging and probably the hardest degree on campus. And so we shook hands, and I told him I'd go that route and learn a little technical side of the world and hopefully be able to contribute in that way in our oil and gas business, as well as he said at the time, between your two grandfathers and myself, if we can't get the business side and the entrepreneurial side ingrained in your head, then shame on us. So that was our compromise.
Well, but the compromise worked out well for all concerned. Do people in Arkansas know that a guy who started in the '87 Orange Bowl game and somebody who had real special athletic talents anyway, his dad pushed him to go to Princeton away from the famed Razorbacks? Is this a dirty little secret, or does everybody know?
It's probably a little bit on the dirty little secret side, because he was proud. He played at the University of Arkansas, and I think the compromise ended up good for everybody. But I'm not so sure how many people knew just how hard he was pushing for me to go to Princeton. I must say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because my son's a nice high school player in his own regard, and I'm kind of pushing him a little bit the same way. So another compromise may be headed our way in our family.
Ladies and gentlemen, when Stephen Jones says he's kind of pushing somebody, you can believe he's the master of the understatement, especially now being the driving force, along with his dad, obviously, and Charlotte Jones Anderson and others in the family. The Cowboys, Forbes says, are worth $4 billion. Nobody really takes those numbers seriously, especially those of us in business, because the branding is worth so much more. Just took a tour of the world headquarters, Ford Center and the like in Frisco with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and we'll have a Facebook on that one as well. Stephen, you've got to be proud of not only the Cowboys branding in the AT&T Stadium, but also how you've developed the worldwide brand beyond just the four corners of the facility in Arlington.
Yeah, well, it all started, I must say, Jerry challenged, our family. As you mentioned, it's not just me. I've got great partners and my sister Charlotte and my brother Jerry, and then, of course, the rest of our A-team, our C-suite team, to really, tell us at the end of the day the way he felt is you don't actually own the Dallas Cowboys. You just buy the right to get a chance to run with the ball. And, his big challenge to us is as great as the Cowboys were in terms of their brand, in terms of, how well they were known. And, at the time, obviously still America's team when we bought into the team in '89. His big challenge is we're going to need to leave this in a better place than when we got our hands around it. And certainly I think he's lived up to all that between, as you mentioned, building a new stadium for the franchise. Texas Stadium was obviously an amazing place with a great brand. But certainly AT&T Stadium now stands as, one of the top, if the not top venue in all of sports. And I think it was the first stadium to cross that $1 billion marker in terms of where things were headed, and now you see that on a regular basis. But that was obviously one of the big projects. And then, of course, the second is the one you mentioned, the Star. And the challenge here was to take practice facilities to a new level, and I give him a lot of credit. He didn't want to just build a practice facility where players just came to work out, and there wasn't really touched by your fans, which most practice facilities aren't. They weren't true business in terms of revenue generating and making business sense. And I think we've been able to do that with the Star. This is it's more than just a practice facility. It's an amazing partnership with high school sports, which we're the most proud of. The Frisco Independent School District, who had $90 million budgeted to build an indoor stadium for the community here in Frisco, and they put that on the table along with some other incentives. And, as you well know, that's all we need is a good head start, and then we're going to end up spending a lot more money. And here we are about $750 million later at the Star with a 400,000 square foot office building, of which we occupy about 100,000 of it for our corporate headquarters. And we have a 12,000 seat indoor high school stadium that doubles as our indoor stadium. It's all things that our fans can come out and touch and tour and be a part of. People can have special events. We have about 250,000 square feet of retail right next to an Omni Hotel, 300 rooms, full-service hotel, and then a very unique partnership with Baylor Scott & White, which is a day surgery center, but also has one of the great wellness centers in the country in terms of both preventative and medicine, as well as having some of the greatest doctors for those athletes who high school athletes who have a shoulder or a back surgery that want to be fixed by the same people who work on Tony Romo or any of our other athletes. You can come here. And then on top of that, we have, some unique concepts, a Cowboys Fitness Center and as well as a Cowboys Club, which is a dinner club. Our fans can come and overlook the practice field. And then, of course, obviously, we always have to have a great place where you can buy our merchandise, be involved in our brand. So, that's a very, very quick summary, but it's certainly something that we think we're only about halfway through it. We're always looking for the next big idea, but something we're very much think has enhanced our brand, and something, that still has a long ways to go in terms of what we can do with the star here in Frisco.
Well, after listening to you, I'm kind of disappointed because I wish you could be a little more passionate about what you do. It's just, obviously, that is a key to success. And I guess my question from a business perspective purely is, how much of your entrepreneurial and development life here, you and your dad, are vision versus best practices? It's one of those conundrums and dynamics that everybody tries to seek a balance in. And give me your sense of the balance between the two.
I must say it's a nice balance, and it's hard to say whether it's 50-50, whether it's 40-60. Jerry has a great vision about himself, entrepreneurial vision, that also believes that if you build things of quality, to some degree, build and they will come, then you have an inordinate chance for the business and the best practices side to come to the top. And certainly the challenge was for our team, for our family, for our management team, to at least be able to show him, where it had a really fighting chance to be a solid business. And on top of that, also build it to the quality that's expected by our Cowboy fans. Certainly something my sister Charlotte does, along with my mother Jean. They expect nothing but the best. And so then you've got to, therein lies where the premiums have to come in and the innovation.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. By now, you know all too well that SR22 auto insurance is way more than you'd ever want to pay. You probably thought you didn't have a choice, but you were wrong. Our company specializes in low-cost, very affordable SR22 auto insurance for high-risk drivers. We know that mistakes happen, so take pride in being able to offer absolutely free quotes for this very affordable auto insurance meant specifically for you, the overpaying high-risk driver. We're standing by at 800-758-0725. The only thing you need to do is stop waiting around while your monthly payments stay as high as they are. Our knowledgeable representatives are ready for your call at 800-758-0725. The quote is free, and we'll even handle the filings so you could start saving money every month even sooner. Call 800-758-0725. That's 800-758-0725. Once more, 800-758-0725.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Do you have an old car sitting in your driveway? How would you like to learn a hassle-free way to get rid of it, help kids in need, and get a great tax donation in the process? It's real easy. One simple free call to our car donation hotline is all it takes. Call the Neshama Foundation at 800-760-4895, 800-760-4895. We'll come pick your car up for free and give you a tax donation for the full value of the car, running or not. The value of your unwanted car will go to help kids in need. It's fast and easy. Just call us and your car will be gone and on its way to helping children in 48 hours. And you get a nice tax deduction. Call the Nishama Foundation now to get rid of your car, help kids, and get a tax write-off. Call 800-760-4895. 800-760-4895. 800-760-4895. That's 800-760-4895.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Therein lies where the premiums have to come in and the innovation has to come in to get the returns that you look for in a typical business, which at the day Jerry's always believed, and that's probably where him and Tex separated, is if you're healthy, if you have resources, then you can take the brand even further. I think Tex was great at building the brand. I'm not so sure that his forte was monetizing the brand. Jerry has certainly challenged everybody to build a brand, but the bigger part of his, of his goals at the end of the day, which he thinks makes for a healthier brand and franchise, is to monetize it. And when you have the resources, then you can build assets like AT&T Stadium, the Star in Frisco, and all the elements and the assets that go in the Star. So you've got it, Rick. It's a fine line, but it's a mix that you have to have. And certainly I think, through Jerry's leadership, and, as we all know, for all the right reasons, both on and off the field, going into the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think that's why he's headed there this year, is for all the vision as well as the best practices, the business side of it that he's brought to the table for the NFL.
Yeah, amazing combination. A couple more, and then we'll let you get back to outsmarting your opponents on draft day. The idea of family risk is an interesting one. I assume after family meetings, all of you, the brothers and sisters and mom and dad, when Jerry reaches for the sky and the ROI and the return is not guaranteed, and certainly nobody can point to examples of where he takes the safe choice. So do you go to bed some nights and saying, how did I get into this?
Oh, there's no doubt. I think we've all had those sleepless nights. And, the tables have turned a little bit, I must say. Jerry, obviously when he bought the team, he risked his entire fortune, our family fortune that he had made in the oil business, and put it all on the line to get to own the Cowboys, and certainly had to take an amazing brand that Tex Schramm and Clint Murchison and Bum Bright were a part of, and monetize that. It was the most ever paid, and it was actually losing money when he got his hands on it. And then he turned around and obviously did the same thing with AT&T Stadium. Really danced with the devil again. Happened to have about a 40-foot hole in the ground when there was an economic downturn, in 2006, 7, and 8. And so when the Star came around, there he was sitting in his early 70s, and he said, I'm ready to maybe enjoy this. Maybe you and your brother and sister should do this later on. And as we all know, it was you got to meet opportunity when it presents itself. We got that from Jerry, and that's where the pressure came to really show him the path for it to be good business, and we were able to convince him of that. But as you so well say, there's many nights that we all lay awake and wondering why we're pushing something or why we're heading in a certain direction. But we've had good fortune, and I think that's what happens when you associate yourself with an amazing brand like the Cowboys.
An amazing brand, an amazing family. Here's the final one, and you can answer it as short and long as you want. I fear that knowing what the right answer is, you got to get back to the draft table real quick. But what does the brand look like, broadly defined, in the next 10 years?
Well, I think that's a great question. I think we're at a time, in business, where we are in the world right now with the social media, with the way all the different mediums are changing in terms of what our future is, how we're going to communicate to the millennials, to the Gen Zs of the world in terms of how they digest, in terms of how they take in their content. And it's a challenge, and we've got to be nimble. I think nimble is just a huge, huge word in terms of being able to make, decisions quickly, but also not leaving behind what brought you. And, our networks, our network television, the basics, obviously you could then get into cable and satellite TV. All these partners of ours have certainly played a huge role in bringing our brand where it is today. But we also know, that our future takes in content and digests content in a way that's different than the way we did it. So, our brand's going to evolve. And in order for it to evolve, we have to keep up with, with our young people. And it'll be a challenge, but it's something that we welcome. I think we've got very, very smart people at the league level and the NFL level. And certainly we're going to be there as an organization with some of the top young people coming to our organization to really guide us and show us how we'll challenge and how we'll hopefully come up with good answers as we move forward.
Yeah, smart people, but they understand how important it is to be inspired by an unbelievable once-in-a-generation vision, and that's you and your family. Stephen, thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, great being on, Rick.
Next up, Pat Rooney of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sports professor Rick Horrow keeping score beyond the boardroom, inside politics, sports, football. It converges, and it couldn't have converged at a better time. The dreaded Pittsburgh Steelers are taking on the New England Patriots. I better not say dreaded because of the guy that's on the line. He is Pat Rooney, Clemson University BA, Villanova, Lehigh, a representative from the Florida House from 2010 to 2016. He's FAU Honors College. We had a lot to talk about with Pat in addition to the matchup that's coming up. He's more importantly the president of the Palm Beach County Golf Association and the American Bar Association. Pat Rooney, which one is more important to you, the American Bar Association or the Palm Beach County Golf Association?
I'm going Golf Association, Rick. Sports has been a big part of my life. Golf in particular, since I was a little kid, one of the things that really helped me and my dad and our relationship as we, went along in this life's journey. And I've been part of the Golf Association now for, almost 20 years. So that's much more important than something, with the lawyers and falling asleep.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And I also have seen him on the golf course, and he has a lot to be proud of with that swing. He's kind of a lanky dude, but, the Rooneys get things done, as we know. So before we get into some of the other important issues about the rest of your life, obviously the Rooneys and the Steelers are inevitably and irrevocably linked as a brand, not only in Pittsburgh, but in the NFL. So will you first describe the considerable and ever-diverse Rooney family tree for us?
That is a tough question to answer, Rick, but I will say this. If your name is Art or Dan, you've got some link to the Rooney family. I think we, researching it myself, I think there's 5 or 6 sets of Arts or Dans going back to the 1800s in Ireland and Scotland where, my ancestors came from. So basically, in a real quick nutshell, my Uncle Dan is the oldest of 5 brothers. My grandfather, Art, started the team in 1933. And then Dan, Art Jr., Tim, and then my dad, Pat and John, are twins. They're the 2 youngest. So there's 5 brothers. And like I said, if your name's Art or Dan, then your chances are very good that you're somewhere in the Rooney family.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you get that? Is there a pecking order, by the way, of older Rooney siblings and younger Rooney siblings, where you sit in the suite, who gets the right tickets, who gets to yell the loudest? How does that all work around the Thanksgiving table?
Well, in the old days, yes. If you were the oldest Rooney male, then that gave you some level of prestige. But since we've been, for estate reasons, have been divesting. Some of the brothers have been, selling off their portions of the team, their ownership portions of the team. That's pretty much gone out the window. Now you're kind of on your own. If you want to get tickets or field passes or anything like that, you almost have to go through the regular procedures that anybody else would want to get those things. So one of the unfortunate things with the way estates work now is that because we've had to eliminate a lot of our interest in the team, at least my family and four of the other five families, you don't have those perks like you used to. But there's still a slight bit of prestige that you get from being one of the oldest, but not as much as like it used to be.
It is ironic. A lot of the audience will be Patriot-related audience, and the Krafts have insinuated in a positive way themselves into New England sports lore because of what they've done and how they've done it. Looking back as a member of one of the older patriarchal families of the NFL, what do you think of the job that the Krafts have done in resurrecting the Patriots?
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780. Nobody really needs or wants home security until it's too late. You've heard the statistics about how many burglaries there are per day. You see the news. You know there are people out there that do bad things. The best way to help protect your home and your property is with an ADT monitored system from Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider. Call right now to get a free wireless home security system valued at $850. An ADT monitored system can help protect your home from fires, theft, floods, and call for emergency help. Call now to find out more about our $850 free wireless home security system and start enjoying the peace of mind of security today. Call 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281. This offer is for new customers only. Termination fees apply. $99 customer installation charge and 36-month monitoring agreement required. All for details. License terms and conditions available at secureathome.com.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But The Secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Resurrecting the Patriots.
No, I mean, it's just been unbelievable. I mean, that team, if you remember, I'm sure, Rick, going back years when it was the Sullivans and then Victor Keim, I think, took it over after them. They were just a team, that was, they'd have some decent years every once in a while, but then there'd be periods of just mediocrity, if not outright bad play and bad personnel decisions and things like that. And when Mr. Kraft came in and took over the ownership of that team, he brought a different philosophy. And I remember one of the stories being that, he used to go down, sort of like into the end zone area and greet the fans before games. And I remember a clip, I think it was on NFL Films, of a guy just basically telling him, a fan, that, the intercom system was terrible and they couldn't really hear the announcements or the players' names or whatever. And I remember Kraft, actually listening to that guy, and then the next shot was them doing something with the public announcing system there to fix that. And you need that kind of a hands-on type of guy for a franchise like that was just kind of, again, muddled in mediocrity for a long time. And to have that mindset, I think, especially over the years, just shows, that the dedication that Mr. Kraft had to that team, but to the fans, to the organization as a whole. And that's how you start a championship-type team, is from the ground up with everybody, grounds crew, people selling the popcorn, parking vendors, everything, goes into it. And I think that's what Mr. Kraft has been able to do with such success there, is build that from the ground up. And now you've had a run of almost 16, 17 years, which is unprecedented in the NFL, of success. And that really started with him and how he decided from day one that things were going to be run there. And it's just been reflective over these last 17 years of success.
Well, Pat Rooney, it sounds pretty similar to what your family's mantra has been with the Steelers ever since Patriarch Art bought the team in 1933, and then Dan. It's fans first, it's fans last, and fans in the middle. And the Steelers have done an incredible job of building that brand in Western Pennsylvania and also around the world. They're one of the top teams in Mexico, one of the top teams around the world, not only the terrible towels, but the history and legacy of the 70s and beyond. What's the one thing you can point to that got that done?
I think it was, starting with my grandfather, I think it was just a personal touch, the ability for him to connect with what everybody, calls the quote-unquote common man, which I think my grandfather wouldn't know what you were talking about because he viewed himself as a common man. When he started his real job, which initially was working in a steel mill, and he made it half of a day, and was sweating and dirty and filthy, and just said to himself, even though his father and his grandfather before him, that's what they were doing, he just made it a point for himself that was not the life he was going to lead. And he got involved in different interests, including boxing promoting and things like that. But sports was ultimately what he was most interested in. He was a amateur football player, baseball player, boxer. He made the Olympic team in 1920. He didn't ultimately go But he was a man, a real Renaissance type person. He had a lot of interest, but he knew what he didn't want to do, and that was, work in a steel mill. So he always had that ability. He did not come from a silver spoon background or anything like that, and he had the ability to relate to people and sort of understand what they were going through, understood what hard times were, and just was able throughout his life to be able to connect to not just presidents and princes and people of high stature in society, but was much more able to relate to the common person. I can't tell you, Rick, how many times I'd be over at his house on a summer break or maybe around the holidays or something, and it almost happened without fail. Somebody would come to his door because he didn't live in a highfalutin neighborhood in Pittsburgh. People would come to his door and not necessarily to ask for money, although they did, but ask for, can he get them a job somewhere? Can he find something for them to do? And my grandfather every time would either find something, he'd say, let me get back to you, and he'd write it down and make sure that he'd follow up on that. And that was just sort of his core value system that, if he was put in a position to help people, he would do it. And that resonated throughout, the blue-collar town of Pittsburgh. They just viewed him as one of their own and not somebody, quote-unquote, special or anything like that. He was just a person who happened to be a hard worker in Pittsburgh, but that made it through a lot of those hard depression-type times, and then was able to give back. And I think that's the one thing that he was able to, however you do that, to bring that to the team where, again, the janitor or the custodian was on the same level as the president of the team in terms of a team moving towards a goal, and he viewed everybody with equal importance.
It would be great to get back to those days. So just hypothetically, you can't answer this question. That's the beauty of a hypothetical question. But it's been 85, 86 years since the Steelers came into being, and Art Rooney originally. What do you think, Art, and maybe Dan now, would think about the Patriots' 17-year dynasty? Is it a, boy, they look like we used to look as far as off-field, performing better than on the field that the Steelers did for 30, 40, 50 years, but that it's a great opportunity, it's a great deal, or would there be a little bit of, hey, how about the old guys like the Bears or the Giants? We were real football, and these are gonna Johnny-come-latelys. There's a little bit in between.
I don't think so. I think I haven't really spoke to my Uncle Dan about his thoughts on the Patriots per se, but I'm just knowing him, knowing the family the way we are. I think they're happy with what New England has been able to do, and yeah, I mean, we want to beat them, and we wish we had some of the success that they've had, because our team has been decent these last 15, 16 years as well, but we haven't been as good as they are. So there might be a little bit of that competitiveness, but that's my Uncle Dan took the same philosophy that my grandfather did. What he viewed everything as, is this good for the league? Is it good for the league as a whole that the Patriots are so good? And I think he, without question, would say yes, and for a couple of reasons. Because there's a lot of people that like the Patriots. There's a lot of people from Boston, just like in Pittsburgh, that have left the New England area and they've moved to Arizona, or they've moved to Florida, they've moved somewhere else, but they've kept that allegiance to New England, and that sort of has spread to other parts of the country. And I think my uncle would say that's good for the league. But more importantly almost is there's a lot of people that hate New England. They're like Duke or the Yankees or, teams that have been so good for so long, and you're getting sick of seeing Tom Brady on commercials and in movies and everywhere else and winning all the time. But that's good, Rick. That's
you
good.
Forgot Alabama.
We'll put Alabama
in there. We'll get
a week
to that.
ago.
We'll get to that.
But that love-hate relationship with a team is actually, I think, a good thing for the league because it polarizes people, and you get into arguments and stuff. But it's all good fun. But I think ultimately those types of dynasties are really good for the league because people ultimately want to beat them or overcome them, and then you go on to the next one. But I absolutely think my uncle couldn't be happier in one way that the Patriots are successful now. He wants to beat them, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's good for the league what the Patriots have been able to do.
The final question about the history of the NFL, but I think people all over the country ought to know this. Does your family look back, the Rooney family, at a sense of pride, as they should, along with the Hallases and the Maras and Green Bay and the Fords, that you really made the league, that if there wasn't the faithful all for one and one for all in the late 50s and early 60s about sharing television money, there probably wouldn't be an NFL. Certainly wouldn't be Green Bay Packers, but it wouldn't be the NFL as strong as it is today with franchises approaching $2 billion. And your family played a significant role in that. How does it make you feel?
Well, I think, I have sort of talked to my uncle a little bit about this, and my dad, who, was around during those times in the, really in the 40s and 50s when my dad and my uncle were just young, kids, teenagers. But in those days, Rick, the NFL wasn't even a second-class league of something. In those days, boxing, horse racing, college football, and especially baseball were kind of the kings of sports. And pro football was really looked upon as I don't even think it was categorized as kind of a real sport type thing. It was, guys trying to make money off of something that, the pure college football arena, it was a more pure arena. So in the 40s and then getting into the 50s, football was really a struggling entity. And there was really no guarantee that it was going to continue to be able to be something on an ongoing basis that was going to make money. And my grandfather always said, his biggest thing was not winning on Sundays. It was making payroll on Mondays because, again, you just didn't know if you were going to get, the people to come out and see the game. So when the game was starting to grow in the 50s, the teams like the Giants and the Redskins and the sort of from the main television or the population markets, when they go to Pittsburgh, that's when we'd have our biggest crowds because you get people that couldn't necessarily get tickets or whatever in New York. They'd come to Pittsburgh or Washington. They'd come to Pittsburgh to see the game. So that would help our gate. And really what happened was those teams started saying, hey, this is Washington and New York. They'd say, this is unfair. You guys are making all this money off of our fans that are coming to your games and spending money on parking and stuff like that. So really it wasn't quite, I don't think, as altruistic as a lot of people thought it was going to be, but those teams sort of said, we want part of the gate. We want part of this because, that's we're losing money because our fans are going to see in your venue. And so what I think happened when the TV started popping up in the late 50s, early 60s, is that revenue sharing mantra just took the next step with TV, and it ended up, obviously, like you're saying, you wouldn't have a team like Green Bay or some of these other real small market teams. They wouldn't be around today. But TV and that revenue sharing was able to keep a lot of those teams afloat through their bad years. And
we're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
And ultimately, when we got to the Super Bowl era and the sport exploded, the sport of pro football, it was like the rising tide, lifted all the boats. So it was a weird thing in the early, the 40s and early 50s of the quote unquote revenue sharing concept. That it wasn't quite like the Giants were like, hey, we want everybody. The Giants just wanted their take of what they thought was, belonged to them, but that ultimately, either, through luck or however you want to categorize it, ended up being a great thing for the league as a whole.
Altruistic or not, it's certainly a great place in history, and the Roonies deserve their highest place. Now, think carefully. This is the last question I'm going to ask you. If you had to make this choice, which one would it be? You won in the Florida House for 3 elections, District 85 from 2010 to 2016. If you were granted a winning of an election for the rest of your life, A, B, your beloved Clemson winning another national championship, or C, the Steelers winning the Super Bowl, which is it?
Oh boy, that is a tough one. I mean, you can throw the election one out. I got my fill of that for the 6 years. But the Clemson was really special only because I got there in '82, so I missed the championship year in '81 by a year. And I don't want to sound, as my dad would say, hoggy, because we were fortunate enough to have 6 already. But those are just such special times when you can go with your family to the game, and if they're lucky enough to win the game, there's such a sense of euphoria and happiness that really there's nothing else on earth that I've ever experienced in my life, with the exception of maybe my kids being born, that can match that feeling, even if it only lasts for a few days. But boy, it's such a fun thing to be able to share with your family, especially, my kids are still relatively young, and to see the looks on their faces when the confetti's coming down and everything, you can't buy that.
Ladies and gentlemen, good friend Pat Rooney. He's no longer in politics, but that sounded like a classic political answer. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a minute.